Okay, here we are, Werder Bremen. There's me there. Let's just fucking start there. Here we go. This is me. Absolutely unrealistic, ridiculous reputation that I've given myself here. I didn't bother going in there with this kind of initial manager knows nothing shit. I went in there with I'm amazing. I was born in Stoke-on-Trent, and I made 67 appearances and scored 28 goals for my country. And my first non-playing role was as Werder Bremen's manager, which is this. So yeah, and I'll just show you, what I like to do here is create this little face, and whatever team I manage, I like to change the colour of the glasses to match the colour of the team. So now we've got the important stuff out of the way. Let's look at things like the finances and the board expectations and so on. Obviously, German team playing in the Bundesliga, top division. Germany's in Central Europe, in case you didn't know. Reputation is kind of 3.5 stars. I think that's a bit harsh. It should really be about 4, I would have thought. Founded 1899, of course, professional status. Current captain Thomas Delaney, vice captain Jerome Gondorf, and we'll have a look at those a bit later on. It's quite disappointing that we don't actually have any fierce rivals. We've got other rivals. I think Bayern Munich are probably everyone's rival in the Bundesliga and Germany as a whole. And then Hamburg are our local rivals. So we'll definitely be checking those games out when they happen. Let's have a look at some of the legends. Anyone we know? Otto Rehagel, we know him. Embarrassingly, I don't think I know any of these. Torsten Frings, I know him. I know Werner Herzog, or Andreas Herzog. Claudio Pizarro, we know him. Diego who? Just Diego. It's just Diego. In case you don't know, we play in green. We've got a white away kit, and our third kit is purple. We've actually won 4 Bundesligas, 1 European Cup. That must have been a way back, because it's a European Cup Winners' Cup. Yeah, was that 1992? Yeah, it was a long time ago, the European Cup Winners' Cup. I remember Arsenal winning it. DFB Pokal, which is the kind of German equivalent of the FA Cup. And I don't know what a DFL Super Cup is, or it's probably like some kind of Rumbelows thing. German Second Division, German League Cup, yeah. We won it all. Right, this is the Weserstadion, which is, it says here, 40,000 capacity. This is Werder Bremen's home. I think this is a really nice stadium. It's kind of like, it's a big stadium, but it feels like a small stadium in a weird way, doesn't it? I love those floodlights as well. They're great. And are they solar panels? I mean, that's a solar panel down there. Are they solar panels on the roof? No, probably not. It's probably just the way the 3D's done. If they are, that's a pretty forward-thinking thing to have on a football stadium. I'll happily admit that I am not very good at finances, and that's whether it be Football Manager or real life. What I do know is that usually green is good, red is bad. Over here we got some red. That shows me that we're losing 1.7 million a month, 1.71 million a month, which is quite a lot of money to be losing, even for a big football club. I don't think anyone can really justify losing 1.7 million a month. But yeah, this is where it seems to be going wrong, and please correct me in the comments if you think there's something I can do about this. But where it seems to be going wrong are these wages. First team, we've got something like, what's this, 9 players down here earning a total of 226,000 a week. Is that right? Yeah. So someone there is earning 41 grand for just being a first team player, when our key player maximum is only 44 grand. So 44.5 grand. So yeah, doesn't seem to be adding up. So the finances are somewhere that needs some work. But the way I play the game is I tend to just run teams into the ground and try and win trophies to make up for the loss that I'm making by signing loads of amazing players who want lots of money. I'll try and deal with that somehow. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, but we'll see. Fingers crossed. So the board are really happy with me. Job security untouchable, which is pretty good. Let's have a look at the confidence here. All in all, it's looking pretty good. Dressing room atmosphere being a particularly strong area. To summarise, the board are delighted with the leadership qualities you're demonstrating. A major contributing factor has been the atmosphere in and around the dressing room. Again, that's all due to me. Although, having said that, they won't let me increase the transfer budget or the wage budget, but I am kind of running them into the ground already, so, fair enough. So, yeah, all in all, pretty good for the board. I'm pretty happy with this squad. We've got a decent bunch of people without having any real standout kind of amazing sort of superstar players. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take you down to the bottom first, and I'm going to look at the players that are not in the squad and see if anybody stands out who's actually all right, because then I'll show you the squad players in the tactic view so that we can see it along with the tactic as well. So straight away, let's look at some of these injuries. There's some big ones. So here we've got out for 2 to 4 months, Max Kruse, who is probably one of the, if you know anything about German football or about Werder Bremen, he's our best, or supposed to be our best kind of goal scorer. Most comfortable in a false 9 position, it looks like there, but he's also quite capable of playing advanced playmaker, it looks like. So that's Max Kruse. He's injured at the moment, and he's also 29 years old. This is not a young squad. This is an old squad. You'll see as I'm going through, most of these players are getting on a little bit. Ulysses Garcia is a player who I've selected on a couple of occasions because I like his name. But he's a pretty good player. He can play as a complete wing back. He can play as a full back. I don't think he's too bad. For 21 years old, he looks like he'll probably improve. He'll probably do all right. His potential ability up there looks like it's sort of 4 stars. And Augustinsson is pretty damn good. So, he struggles to get in. But I like to kind of rotate them a little bit every so often and give him a chance. Jerome Gondorf is regarded as one of the best players at the club. But he's not been playing for us, and that's simply because the position that he plays in we're incredibly strong in, and we have 3 players ahead of him, and we only play 2 in the centre there anyway. So Grujic and Junuzovic, as you'll see in a bit, are just killers, and they're not getting left out basically. We got Johannes Egerstein, who is a striker, who's actually not too bad as well. Only 19 years old, so he has room to improve. And again, 4th rated there, but his potential ability is 4.5 stars. So he's verging on. Really, I should be trying to give him some game time. So that's something I'll look to do. And then we've got, isn't it weird? We've got 2 players called Egerstein in the same team. When does that happen? Maximilian Egerstein. Whew. Unlucky name. Well, actually, it's probably fine in Germany, but, over here I think you'd get a little bit of shit for that. Central midfielder, so he's not going to get a look in. He's down here, he's rated as our 8th best. He is only 21, but then some of these other players, Robert Bauer. Think Barkfrieder, no, he's getting on a bit. Yeah, actually, maybe I should be giving this guy a little bit of time, just because he's one of the younger players there. This guy, Zhang Yuning, now, Chinese striker. He's only 20 years old. His attributes are not too bad. He's got fairly decent mental attributes. His heading is very good, so he's a good guy to have up there as a target man. But he's played terribly whenever we've played him. He hasn't done well. I'm not impressed with him. He's on loan from West Brom. I'm a Stoke fan. Don't really like West Brom, so I'm thinking of just sending him back. Sorry, West Brom fans. I do like you. I just don't like. I don't like it. I don't like West Brom. That's right. Nothing I can say. Anyway, yeah, carry on. Let's get past that. I don't want to kind of alienate people in the very first film I've ever made. But, people have their preferences. I'm sure West Brom fans probably hate me now as well. But one thing we can agree on is we're both shit and we're both going down. So, yeah, there you go. So this is we're starting to get into the actual team now. Let's switch over to tactics and we'll talk about team and tactics. My tactic is a 4-4-1-1. Not very exciting. That's why I said it was a shitty tactic. It's not a shitty tactic because it's been doing all right for us. What I wanted to do when I first took over at the team was to start off basic. Have that that whole mentality of start with a 4-4-2, and then let's just see what needs to be tweaked and changed. And actually, it didn't seem that much did need to change. So the only real thing I've done is because we don't have that many strikers, I've left it as one up top and then a kind of a guy bridging the gap between the midfield and the attack and the striker up top. Well, let's have a look. Starting off with the goalkeeper, Drobny. Now, he's actually the second choice goalkeeper, but he's still all right. I mean, he's 38 years old, so he's not going to last us that much longer. He's actually pretty similar to Pavlenka, who's our first choice keeper. Pavlenka's a little bit more. Well, I don't know. Pavlenka's got some good physicals. They're much of a muchness, really. Pretty similar goalkeeper defend. Pretty obvious one. It's very rare that I'd do anything other than that. I'd love to do something with a sweeper keeper actually, but you never seem to get sweeper keepers, do you, on Football Manager? So we've got Bauer as the right back. 22 years old. He's got some room to improve, but he's also got some really good stats as well. Good natural fitness, good stamina. Attributes, not stats. Bravery 16, long throws 16, so we might get a little bit of Rory Delap action from him. His personality is fairly ambitious. Might be nice if... How can you be fairly ambitious? Surely you're either ambitious or you're not. Anyway, he's fairly ambitious. Nicholas Moisander is one half of our central defensive duo. And this is very similar with a lot of the players from our team. I mean, he's a pretty good example of a typical Werder Bremen player. Getting on a little bit, 32 years old. Sounds bad to say getting on a little bit at 32, because that must mean I'm ancient. 32 years old, getting on a little bit. And he's got, greens all over the place and a couple of standout things, but he's just a good, solid workman, really. And I think that's the same as a lot of these players. Let's move through this a bit faster. Leandro Castan, one of my signings. If you've seen my intro video, you know that I did a Save as Roma. He was one of the only people that kind of performed for me. Weirdly, because he rarely even actually plays for them. And again, he's a bit of an older guy, but we managed to pick him up. This guy has done good for me before. He's going to do a job for us. So let's see if he does or not. Augustinsson, this is the bright young talent on the left. He's very good at crossing and very good at corners. So we tend to try and get him bombing up the wing and overlapping with the inside forward that we've got playing there. So he'll run round the outside. The inside forward will cut inside, and then this guy is supposed to get up here and fire in some balls into the box, which is working all right so far. He's only got one assist, but he's getting the crosses in there, which is useful. Midfield. Now these two are absolute beasts. Junuzovic, who was already at Werder when we took over, he's just a monster. He's probably our best or the best player who is contracted to Werder Bremen at the moment. 18 natural fitness, 17 stamina, 18 aggression, which is amazing for someone in that central midfield position, especially if he was playing as a ball-winning midfielder, but I've got him playing him as a Mazzala just because it's exotic. But, he plays just as well in any of those positions. I mean, ball-winning midfielder actually probably should be doing that, shouldn't he? Let me know what you think on that. What do you think he should be doing? Ball-winning midfielder, Mazzala, box-to-box midfielder? Yeah, so I've got him as a Mazzala at the moment, but he's a good player, and he's retired from international football this year, and he's looking to retire soon. So he's not actually, or he's looking to go into management when he retires. So I don't know how much longer he's going to be around, but he's very good at the moment. this is a player that I brought in at the beginning of the save. So Marko Grujic, and he's arguably, alongside Junuzovic, he's arguably our best player. 13 million worth of a good player. But we didn't pay that because he's on loan. He's on loan from Liverpool, and he's played absolutely amazing for us. He's just one of those guys, when he gets the ball, you just know he's not going to lose it, and he's gonna pick someone out with a pinpoint pass, or he's going to have a good shot, or he's going to do something, basically. We've got him playing as an advanced playmaker, which he likes to do. He can also play as a deep-lying playmaker, but I prefer him as an advanced playmaker alongside Junuzovic when Junuzovic is playing as a Mezzala. Is that how you say it? Mezzala. It might be Metzala, I don't know. So then on the left wing here, we have Florian Kainz, who is 25-year-old advanced playmaker, it says here, is his kind of comfortable position, but we've got him over here as an inverted winger, and he does well in that position because, I mean, he's not super pacey. His passing's okay, his technique's okay, his vision's okay. What's he like up here? I'm starting to question myself now. This is why I said it was a shitty tactic. Anyway, whatever the case, it's working. And he's young and he's got room to improve. So, he's doing well in that position. And I like inverted wingers because I like, when you look at my tactic, I like that they come into this space and kind of free things up for these players to move around a little bit more and draw the attention away from the attacking players. Having said that, Hajrovic out here on the right wing is not an inside forward. He's just literally bombing down to the end and smashing a cross in, and that's where he's probably best suited. 16 pace, crossing 15, dribbling 15. So all we're looking for him in a bit of flair as well. So he might do a few little tricks as he goes around people, and that's fine. Again, he's been doing that really well. Bartels is, again, an older guy, 30 years old. Got a little bit of grey hair there. I'm sure he won't mind me saying. I have to. He's still got decent acceleration, not too bad pace, good aggression, but he's playing as a shadow striker. And again, that's really because, like I said, we don't have two strikers to play up front, and he's playing as an attacking midfielder, but I wanted him to kind of be aware of the fact that he should be moving forward to kind of support that striker. Not support him, but to play almost alongside that striker where possible. That's them, and then usually this would be Kruse up front. But since Kruse got injured, Johansson has come in, and Johansson looks like a female manga character, weirdly. But he's 27 years old, American. He's actually okay, he's got some decent stats about him. I've got him up there. I keep saying stats instead of attributes. I can't help it. I'm sorry. You're just going to have to deal with it. So there we go. If I've offended anyone, I've probably lost about 12,000 potential followers because of that. But yeah, Poacher. I've got him on Poacher because he's the only guy up there and it suits him pretty well and he likes doing it. I tried it out and it worked, so I've left it there. And it's worked so well that in 14 appearances, he's got 8 goals and 2 assists, which I think is okay. And his average rating is 7.12, which could be better, but he's doing the job for us. And he's good. He's okay. So on the bench, Theodore Gebrselassie is another 30-year-old right wing back. He's okay. Some of these guys we are rotating between, so Lamine Sané and Luca Caldirola. These guys are occasionally getting on and playing in the central midfield role. Now Delaney is a bit of an issue because he's 26 years old and he is good. Look at him. He's usually he's a good player, but there's nowhere for him because we don't play a defensive midfielder in this current formation. He's not going in there for Junuzovic or Grujic because they are total beasts. And I don't really want to play him out of position as a central defender, even though it says he can kind of do it, because we have central defenders who are doing okay. So he sits on the bench, keeps the bench warm, even though he is the club captain. If we need to start thinking about defending a little bit, if we're getting under some pressure, or if we're playing a particularly difficult team, I might do this and bring him in there, or I might do this and bring him in as a kind of a defensive midfielder there. Adama Traore is another one of my signings, another loan signing. And this is a guy who I thought could have some potential, and again, he's just been crap. So I've got him on the bench just because I can't give up on him yet, and I'm going to give him some game time, and we'll just see what happens to him. Toure again, he's a central midfielder, defensive central midfielder, really, and as such, as I mentioned before, he's not really getting a sniff. I don't know. We got too many players basically. And then last and least, is Ishak Belfodil, who is quite good, decent player. He can play up front. He's kind of sitting on the bench, ready to come on if Johansson gets injured or is having a terrible game. So they're the players who play in the first team at the moment. Tend to play with a control mentality. I mean, some people might think that's a little bit extreme and would normally start with standard, but I like to go out swinging basically to start with, and just go out there and try and kind of assert ourselves from an early point. Keep it structured, because I don't want anybody wandering straying too far from their positions. Okay, so there we go. There's the tactics. Next. I'm actually sort of halfway through the first season of this save, which may be a slightly weird place to start, but because I was kind of enjoying the save, and because I've never done this kind of YouTube-y film thing before, I thought, well, why not just start with something I'm comfortable with, something I understand, and then we'll move on from there. So I am planning on doing some more saves in the future, but just to get started, we're starting off with Werder Bremen. So here's what's happened so far. You can probably get a decent overview from this. You can see there's quite a few greens, there's a few oranges, and there's only 3 reds there. So you can work out straight away that we've been doing okay. We've been overperforming, because at the beginning of the season, we were kind of tipped for relegation. Now, well, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Touch wood, you never know. But hopefully, we're going to carry on in this vein. So let's have a look, and probably some notable results around here. Bayern Munich. We beat Bayern Munich 2-1, which was a good one. We beat Hamburg 2-1, and they are one of our rivals. And is that the Nord Derby? I think it's called the Nord Derby. Yeah, we beat them, so that's good. We're still in the cup, but in the cup we have Bayern Munich next in the third round. So that's going to be a good one. Coming up next in the league, we've got Cologne, who currently sit 15th. So that's one we will be looking to win, looking to carry on our form in that. Let's have a quick look at the Bundesliga. So there you go. You can see we're sat 4th at the moment. Did we got any top scorers or anything like that? No, nobody there. Yep, nothing there. We're 4th. 16 games played. In fact, Mainz have played 17 in their top. Isn't that weird? Bayern Munich 7th. This is a weird season. Like I said, moving into the next game against Cologne, we'll be looking to pick up a win and improve on that position even further. Now that is going to be the next video that I make. So if you want to see that, and you don't want to hear any more rubbish from me, stop this video immediately, click like, leave a comment if you want, subscribe, and go to the next video and watch the Cologne game. Right, so that's it. That's the end of the introduction to the save. Hopefully that's got you interested enough to come back for more next time. If it has, then you might want to hit the subscribe button, just so that you know when all my new films will be coming out. Probably be doing sort of one or two a week, hopefully. Hit the like button as well, because that really helps the content get discovered, and it will help me maybe get more than about 3 followers in my lifetime, which would be really appreciated. Only hit like if you do like it, though, because I don't like asking people to like. So yeah, only hit like if you like it. Yeah. I'll end this film the way that my wife told me I should start it. When I was saying to her, how should I start the channel? What should I say? I don't want to do any of that shit that people do where they're saying like, hey guys, or, what is going on, guys? All of that bullshit. So I said to her, what should I say? And she said, hey, big fat losers who are playing Football Manager while your wife is in bed. But I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work. Let's see, maybe I'll try it at the beginning of the next one and we'll see if that works. Okay, thank you.